got some new stuff here. First thing that's missing is this plate. I don't know if you can see the shape, but this is the center reinforcement plate. You're only going to see this on a convertible. This one's actually for a Mustang. A Mustang's a little bit wider than this car, so the part looks the same, but it's not the same. It's just wider, so I'm going to have to probably cut this down the center and take 3 or 4 inches out of it after I take some measurements. What this does is they're not torque boxes, there's 2 support pans that go underneath the passenger and driver's seat, and this connects them where the drive shaft goes through, since you don't have a roof. Supposedly it's supposed to keep the car from folding in half, right? And then I got some sheet metal here to make our repairs that we're going to work on here shortly, now that we're going to be cutting the little spots of rust out. And I was lucky enough to find, if you can see, we still have the original stamping. This is a new old stock replacement radiator core support. So I already have the piece that goes along the bottom, and now I've got the entire core support from headlight to headlight, where this car, since it took a hit somewhere on the passenger side in the front, I'm pretty sure it's all mashed up, and that's one reason that the car's off. So I could put this in, but like I've told you before, I want to get this on the frame table now that I got the frame measurements, to make sure the car is actually up to spec like it came out of the factory, so that all the panels fit correctly and we're not wandering down the road. A previous owner had done enough with the alignment where it still miraculously drives straight, but if you look down the side and when you go to open the doors, you notice that the panel gaps are all messed up and the car's got a little wave in it. All right, well, let's get to cutting some metal out. All right, well, I got my 16 gauge sheet. Not really sure how we're gonna bend this up now that I found more rust. As you can see, I got my nasty clothes on for cutting all this stuff out. So we need, I always like to give myself a little more, but I'm going to try and be kind of exact. And there is a complex shape here that I probably won't be able to make. So it's 3/4 and by 2. So it's going to be 2 3/4. Alright, and get my untrusty straight edge. I should. This is just my bending, my line for bending, so. Just make a dotted line. That way I don't get confused. There we go. All right, here's my homemade jig, because, you know, doing everything with the wrong tools. I don't feel like cutting this hot, so we gotta stay outside the line.
had to cut the thing in half because it's 24 inches long, the sheet, and I've only got a little 18-inch bending brake, and as you can see, uh, it's not that great. So I got all my clamps in place, probably not enough. We'll see. There's always more metal. So let's have at this. Alright, now let's see what we got going on. A little better, not perfect. Here's our mock-up in place. Gotta do some more measuring, mostly to see where we're gonna cut more of the inner frame rail out. This is gonna be up underneath. The one in front is already tucked in, but I've got to cut more back here and up front. So probably gonna cut about 30 inches out total, so probably like 6 more inches, which is good. I made this extra piece. You can see I made marks, and I got my punch here. And we're gonna make little 3/16 holes, like so, for us to spot weld to. And then I've got we're gonna try out our spot weld tip on for our MIG gun. See how that works. This is pretty easy. The marks are half an inch apart, or an inch apart. There you go. I got all my holes for my spot welds. So now we'll just clean it up with the angle grinder to get all the mill scale off, and then we'll start welding. Okay, there's old and new. Once we put some primer and some undercoating on it, it'll be a good patch. Not my best welding, but it is. The pinch welds matched up, and casual eye, there's no more rust, and it looks correct. Making it work when there's no patch panels. Here's the center reinforcement plate. We're gonna take this one out, this damaged one, and we're gonna see if the new one I welded together fits. One. Two. Just swing that out of the way. There we go. Now for this one. Oh, there's one bolt. Uh-oh, too long. Crap. Holes are all off. Well, back to the drawing board. Well, that's not gonna work. Great. Another bad day. Here is my center reinforcement plate I bought, cut, and welded, and then found out the holes are all off. 2 sets of the holes are off. The plate's too long. So there goes buying something for a Mustang. This is just junk. So we just got a piece of 16 gauge steel. This might be 14. It's close enough. We're gonna put 2 bends in it and then try and mark all the oval holes.
looks like everything lines up. I just got to weld, clean up and weld this piece on to hold the parking brake cable, and we'll clean it up a little bit another time.